Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to discuss the Willie Lynch Letter. I'm not sure if many of you guys know of Willie Lynch, who Willie Lynch is, or what the Willie Lynch Letter is, or what it's about. My mother encouraged me to read this letter, and I really wanted to get the message out to you all, the truth, everything that you want to know, and what is causing generational trauma within our own families in the Black community. Now, Willie Lynch was a white plantation owner, and he came up with a way on how to take control of slaves and to cause generational curses. So I have the Willie Lynch Letter right here, and I'm gonna read you the strategies and break them down so you better understand. So, strategy 1. Taking so many drops of good white blood and putting them into as many black women as possible, varying the drops by the various tones that you want, and then letting them breed with each other until the circle of colors appear as you desire. Now, what Willie Lynch is saying, all of the white masters and whoever plantation owners that owned slaves raped the black women, implanting their seed, their blood, and mixing it in with black blood to cause stronger genes or something. Let me continue. What you've got is a multiplicity of colors, crossbreeding completed for further severance from the original beginning. We must completely annihilate the mother tongue and institute a new language that involves a new life's work. Willie Lynch was trying to completely wipe out black culture, black anything, Africanism. They want everyone to be white, and this is what created mulattoes and, you know, the light skins that did work in the house, and then the darker ones picked cotton. That's strategy 1. Here is strategy 2. The more a foreigner knows about the language of another country, the more he is able to move through all levels of that society. Therefore, if the foreigner is an enemy of the country to the extent that he knows the body of the language, to that extent is the country vulnerable to attack or invasion of a foreign culture. Willie Lynch, what he's saying is enslaving African people from their country where they speak their own language, which is not English, and bringing them to a Americanized country by white Europeans, white coons, and they speak English. They're able to keep control of the slaves, and the slaves not understand what they're talking about. But if you have African slaves that learn how to speak English or another language, they're able to go up the pedestal and succeed and get out of slavery, and now they're no longer a slave. They're no longer able to be controlled by someone. So that's why they make sure African people or African slaves don't know how to read. It's crazy, right? Just think about this stuff. These are things that are going on that are still happening right now in modern society. And it may not ring a bell right now, but you'll see. All right, strategy 3. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. So that top portion, that little portion that I just read, using fear, distrust, and envy to control, this has been beaten into us and is now generational trauma in today's society. And what I mean by this is black on black crime. Their whole thing was to pit black people against each other, and they're succeeding at that. What do you keep seeing in the news? Black killing another black person, or just black people wanting to kill. It's like, it's a feeling that they can't control because it's in their bone marrow. It's a curse. And for some reason, we're still trying to figure out how to break this curse. We as black people need to come together and We need to do something about this. This cannot keep going on and then eventually wipe out the entire black race. This cannot happen. Okay, the fourth strategy. Break the spirit of the man much like you would break the spirit of a horse, and ride the woman as though she were a wild A until she is tamed and offer no resistance. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus female. You must also use your white servants and other overseers to distrust all blacks, but it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Now, this goes back to strategy 3, where black on black crime is a serious atrocity right now. And strategy 4 is just piggybacking off of that. And it's what Willie Lynch was trying to get his other plantation owners to understand is they needed to figure out how to get the black slaves to not trust each other, but depend on the master. Depend on him for everything, no matter what, even if he beats on you. Do not trust your own. Trust the white man, because he's the highest power. Anyway, strategy 5. Bullwhip the black man in front of the woman and child until he gives up his will to resist. This leaves the woman feeling alone, unprotected by him, with his image destroyed. The ordeal will cause her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. So this is going to, I'm not trying to target him or anything, but I feel like this has something to do with Kevin Samuels. I know some of you guys are probably familiar with Kevin Samuels and him saying that black women are masculine and they don't know how to bow down to a man. This is exactly that. They were trying to flip the switch, make men softer, and allow the white man to beat on them in front of his wife and children, so that the wife can feel like she's independent. She cannot trust black men. She needs white men to be there for them, have interracial relationships, have a white man raise her black child. And this is why there are interracial relationships like right now. Black men and black women feel like they cannot be together because of this issue right here. And even my brother, he told me, why do I act so masculine? And I didn't understand why he would say that, but now that I read this, I get why. And hopefully you do too. All right. Strategy 6. We talked about paying particular attention to the female and her offspring for orderly future planning. Then more recently, we stated that by reversing the positions of the male and female, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever, unless a phenomena occurred and reshifted the position of the male and female. Just like what I said before. They want the men to act feminine and the women to act masculine. Same thing I said on strategy 5. And the last strategy. The best way to deal with the phenomena is to shave their mental history and create a multiplicity of phenomena of illusions, so that each illusion will swirl in its own orbit, something similar to floating balls in a vacuum. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and your children use them. Never miss an opportunity. Basically, what he's saying in this last strategy is he's trying to tell his fellow plantation owners to use these methods that he created to keep control over black society. And this is like I said, these are generational curses that nobody can understand why they're dealing with this. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. He spoke on something like this as well. And Willie Lynch was a white supremacist. He felt like he was the supreme race and he's gonna be the best of them all. And this letter was written in 1712, which is an excerpt from the Bible of Success. This is Willie Lynch's Bible of success over black people. This is why black people feel like all they've came from is slavery. They don't believe that they've came from anything greater than this, because it's been beaten out of our minds. You know what I'm saying? So I seriously, we need to come together as a black community. This needs to stop. This is getting ridiculous. If you can, I recommend you to read Willie Lynch's letter. Seriously. And then break it down so you can understand. I broke it down to my best ability, what I believe it means, and I feel like it makes sense. So hopefully you've enjoyed this message, this video, and stay tuned for the next one.